Live from WTVO 17 and your home team, Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Give a thought.
Crowds of people honoring those who didn't make it home from war. Veterans in the group share their thoughts as a Rockford tradition bounces back post-pandemic. President Biden uses his first Memorial Day in office to plead with the country. He says democracy is in peril and offers what he calls a pathway to unity. And a new bill changes how Illinois police communicate with kids under interrogation, what lawmakers say can happen if officers lie in order to uncover the truth. Good evening, I'm Eric Wilson. Mimi Murphy has the night off. Thanks for joining us on the Memorial Day holiday. A bicyclist is dead after being hit by a car in Rockford over the weekend. This happened just before 4 yesterday afternoon on Bypass 20 east of 251. Police say a black Mercedes was headed east on 20 when the 57-year-old man on a bike entered the road from the shoulder. The car swerved to avoid the cyclist, but he still hit the passenger side. The man was rushed to the hospital where he passed away. Investigators say the victim is from Bellwood, but haven't released his name. Memorial Day has been around for more than 150 years. It was originally called Decoration Day in the wake of the U.S. Civil War. Last year, the pandemic put many tributes on hold. This time, downtown Rockford's streets were filled for one tradition. Veterans in the crowd tell Alexis Carpello the message is personal.
I know of several people that didn't make it.
On Memorial Day, we honor those who died while serving our country, fighting to keep us free. Vietnam veteran Willie Evans, wounded 3 times during combat, honors those who didn't come home.
What I do is a memorial to them because I could look back and I know at times where I thought I wouldn't make it.
He, along with other veterans like Larry Fowler, remember their friends that paid the ultimate sacrifice.
I've had many friends throughout all the services give their lives to protect us and our freedoms.
Just one piece of Fowler's tribute showing up for the parade and ceremony at Rockford's Memorial Hall.
I just hope everybody takes time on this day to remember our fellow service members that are past and current.
To me, every day is a memorial that I have for them because I can smell something, I can see something, I can hear something, and it'll take me back and I can remember what it was like.
And while you're celebrating with family and friends, Evans says the day comes as a somber day for veterans and families that lost loved ones.
Everybody that went before me, the guys that I served with, the guys that didn't make it back, the guys that still haven't came back, all of that comes into mind.
He vows to never forget, not only today, but every day. Reporting in Rockford for your home team, I'm Alexis Carpello.
Memorial Day events continued on the Rock River with the annual sinking of the ship. That tradition honors sailors who lost their lives. Navy Club Ship Number 1 in Rockford has hosted this event for nearly 30 years. Organizers say it's another way to remember those who sacrificed everything for our freedom.
It's quite a tradition for us. I'm a Navy wife, so Vietnam vet, Navy wife. So I feel very honored to be part of this because my husband was on one of those ships that could have been bombarded. So it's a very touching thing.
Organizers say Winnebago County has the only Navy club that actually sinks the ship to honor those sailors. The land of Lincoln's second largest Memorial Day parade takes place right here in the state line. Pecatonica community members showed up in droves to honor the fallen. Cars, new and classic, decked out in American flags, rounded the streets. One parade goer we spoke with says she takes time each Memorial Day to remember her cousin who never made it home from Vietnam.
It means a lot to me because this is how I could honor my cousin, that fought. He was only 21 when he was killed. And so it means a lot to me about that.
Thank you for your service, veterans.
Pecatonica is also hosting a Memorial Day Carnival on West 3rd Street in Maine. It runs until 7 tonight. In-person Memorial Day tributes are back in our nation's capital as well. President Biden honored the war dead this morning. The Commander-in-Chief paid tribute to our troops at a wreath ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington National Cemetery. Biden then spoke at a remembrance ceremony, highlighting democracy as the soul of our nation.
We owe the honored dead a debt we can never fully repay. We owe them our whole souls. We owe them our full best efforts to perfect the union for which they died.
President Biden also expressed gratitude to all who have served in Afghanistan over the past 20 years. The Pentagon's preparing to pull the final U.S. troops out of the country later this year. Illinois cracks down on corruption with tougher ethics laws for elected officials. Time's running out for the House and Senate to pass new laws before tonight's midnight deadline. Several current and former members of the General Assembly are under federal indictment or investigation. This new package would allow the Legislative Inspector General to launch investigations without prior approval. It would require politicians to tell us much more about how they make their money, how much debt they have, and whether they work for or lobby for local governments.
I guess it is a little intrusive, but when you run for public office and you put yourself out there, it could be a catch into terms of if people have an extraordinary amount of debt.
The new rules would also require elected officials to report any gifts valued more than $500. Illinois is the first state to ban police from using deceptive practices to get a confession out of suspects younger than 18. The bill stops police from lying to minors in order to get information on a case. Supporters say the practice leads to false or incorrect confessions.
Let me just be clear. I think the idea of lying or deceiving anybody during any interrogation is wrong. But in this case, for young people, don't deceive them. Don't try to make offers to them that don't actually exist. Don't try to intimidate them and tell them that you heard X from someone else and therefore Y is happening here.
The bill passed with bipartisan support in both the House and Senate. House Republican leader Jim Durkin signed on as a co-sponsor. Best friends in Belvedere create a whole new meaning for the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Rachel Perry caught up with the duo for a closer look at their nightly adventures. Rachel, their journey typically starts on social media.
That's right, Eric. You'll get a kick out of this one. May and Rhonda are known as the Curbside Ladies on Facebook. They take what you throw on the curb and rate it. Plus, just like the items, the laughter is free.
She'll tell me, nope, not sitting on it. But I can get her on a chair and scoot her out in the street, and I'm like, well, we got to test it.
Rhonda Trevino and May Williams started off as neighbors.
I was really scared of her because she looked like a tough woman, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't say anything. This woman might beat me up or something.
But they soon became best friends, and now Curbside Ladies. Each with different roles, Williams is the tester, and Trevino tells her what to test. And they always hold each other accountable.
That's my friend's fault. She should have took the sign. That's her job.
Well, I know this in the car, so it's my fault.
Curbside Ladies isn't all laughs. Trevino tells me it's been healing for her.
I lost my daughter, and she was 26. And so with me being depressed and all this stuff, I started this, and it brings so much joy to me.
Now the duo looks out for each other, especially after an unfortunate encounter with one curbside find.
We found a couch that was full of bed bugs, and we got home and we ripped off all of our clothes.
They now have their merch with their very own slogan.
Our slogan is, and it's
free,
and it's
free,
and it's
free.
Trevino says being together and laughing with Williams is the best part of being a Curbside Lady. You can find a link to the Belvedere Curbside Ladies Facebook on mystateline.com. Eric?
Those videos are a lot of fun to watch. Thanks, Rachel. Today marks 100 years since a Tulsa neighborhood was left a smoldering pile of debris. After the break, community members say there is still a search for answers and accountability for the racially motivated attack.
Temperatures through the beginning of June continue to warm through the 70s, but we could come close to that 90-degree mark by week's end. Find out if that comes with any chance for rain in the first warn forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
This weekend marks a century since a mob burned a Tulsa, Oklahoma neighborhood to the ground. Hundreds of Black Americans died. As the community comes together to pay respects to the victims and heal, Alex Prechet shows us the debate over how to handle the commemoration and reparations.
A century after the destruction, the city of Tulsa is yearning for answers and accountability for a ruthless attack on the community of Greenwood, also known as Black Wall Street. In 1921, a mob of armed white men burned down this thriving hub of Black-owned businesses. Untold amounts of generational wealth wiped out within 24 hours. The attack left 300 Black Americans dead.
It's finally being acknowledged what our ancestors went through.
What do we want? Justice! Many people traveled over the weekend to visit this hallowed ground.
Stand up, stand tall.
More today.
To the people of Tulsa, we see you.
And even more scheduled to visit tomorrow, including President Biden, who's calling on Americans to reflect on the deep root of racial terror and recommit to the work of rooting out systemic racism across our country. He'll meet with surviving members of the community like Viola Fletcher.
I hear the screams. I have lived through the massacre every day.
Ms. Fletcher testified in front of Congress this month as part of a lawsuit against the city of Tulsa and others for the estimated $1.8 million in property loss claims back then. No one was ever punished or held accountable for the massacre, stemming from allegations that were never proven that a Black man assaulted a white woman in an elevator.
The survivors never received any type of reparations. They never received any type of benefit.
Senator Chris Coons saying their actions are responsible for the nationwide attention today.
This whole country is focused today on what happened here a century ago, and you have made that happen.
That was Alex Prechet reporting.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Well, thank you so much for spending part of your Memorial Day holiday with us this evening. You know, the weekend drying out, temperatures a little on the cooler side, but very comfortable. Not too often do we go a holiday weekend with very little rainfall. And in fact, our sky's clearing out here live. Look with our Marcial Sky Track camera. Flags flying at half staff to honor those who have served this evening. We've got the clearing skies, and we'll continue to see that clearing take place. Unfortunately, the rainfall that we had to the south of us, that's pretty much where it stayed, and we are going to continue to see that clearing take place as we go through this evening. I wanted to share this picture because we had some frosty mornings, both Saturday morning and Sunday morning. Did take a little bit of a toll. Our weather watcher Sandy down in the Kirkland-Fairdale area shared this picture. These are soybeans that have taken a hit from some of the frosty mornings, but I also wanted to point out, you guys see the cracks in the dirt and the soil here? That's just a testament to how dry it has been. And unfortunately, that dry trend continues here as we go through the rest of this week. You see those showers down to the south look like maybe our southern counties getting in on some rain, but we've got a very dry air mass overhead, so none of that reaching the ground, at least for the most part, and coming down and actually evaporating before it reaches the surface. Now, there is a cold front to the northwest. You see thunderstorms firing up from northern Wisconsin back into north central Iowa. That does work in our direction, but those continue to fizzle out, so our chance for any rainfall goes down here. Not only does it go down for the night tonight, but our chance for rain goes down here through the week as our temperatures continue to climb. In fact, tomorrow begins meteorological summer, which runs through June, July through the end of August, and temperatures here by the end of this week could touch close, if not surpass, 90 degrees. We stay fairly comfortable for tonight underneath that partly cloudy sky. Could end up with a little fog in some spots tomorrow morning. We stay mostly dry for tomorrow afternoon. Very isolated shower possible up to the north, but those dry conditions continue for most. Now, cloud cover increases as we've got another area of low pressure that'll be passing to the south of us on Wednesday. But the way it looks right now, most of that rain falling to the south. Yes, we could get in a couple of showers Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, but anything that would accumulate looks like it would be under a tenth of an inch or so. And while we've got a couple rain chances coming up this week, just more of those kind of diurnal pop-up showers, thunderstorms as our temperatures climb, the overall rainfall, at least the needed rain, really staying to the south. In fact, if we look through the end of this week, we've got a lot of rain falling to the south of us, but not a lot of that reaching up northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Temperatures back up to 70 in Rockford, 72 in Janesville. Weather watchers here this evening checking in with the 70s. 70 for Bob in Rockford, Ben in South Beloit, and 68 for Mike now in Forest. And 52, that's where the overnight temperature heads here as we go through the night tonight. We're back up to 77 for tomorrow afternoon, down just a bit for Wednesday, 76. But we've got the 80s, and Eric, by the time we get into next weekend, we could see those 90s that could carry us even into next week.
Oh, those temperatures are really ramping up. Thanks, Candice. Scott Leber's in next with sports. The Cubs have finished up the great month of May on a high note against one of the best teams in baseball.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Leber.
It's one thing to rack up a bunch of wins against the Pirates and the Reds. It's another thing to get a W against the Padres. That's exactly what the Cubs did today, beating the winningest team in the major leagues. Javier Baez came to play. In the third inning, he mashes Chris Paddock's pitch for a 2-run home run. Baez knew this baby was gone the second he made contact. He could watch that one. How about Patrick Wisdom stepping up while playing third? He went deep twice in this game. This one gave the Cubs a 3-1 lead. Chris Bryant extended his hitting streak to 13 straight games in a big way. He homers here off Paddock in the fifth inning. Bryant has 12 homers now. He also had a triple today. To the seventh, it's Baez unloading again. His second in the game, 13th in the season. And doesn't that deserve a curtain call? Sure does. The Cubs cap off a fantastic month of May with a 7-2 win. And the White Sox beat the Indians in the first game of a doubleheader 8-6. Adam Eaton had a big 2-run homer in the 8th. They're getting set to play the second game. Well, a long bus trip to Syracuse and back was more than worth it for the Rock Valley College softball team. The Golden Eagles won the school's 7th straight national championship in Syracuse yesterday. They arrived back on the RVC campus this afternoon. There to greet them were proud family members, fans, administrators, and fellow coaches from Rock Valley. The Golden Eagles won a total of 51 games this season. They won all 4 of their games at nationals comfortably, outscoring their opponents big.
It felt really, really good, especially being ranked number 2 majority of the season. It felt really good to go and dominate not only the national tournament, but our whole entire postseason.
Everyone, the energy there was intense. It was insane. Our whole team brought it. Being able to be a part of this group and compete for a 7th straight national title means more than I can ever imagine.
It's hard to say goodbye, isn't it?
Oh, it's impossible to say goodbye. Hopefully I won't have to, because I know that these girls are going to be my friends for life. It's very hard. It's a great group of girls. I'm going to miss them a lot, but I know that we'll always stay in touch.
We had to do team bonding skills over the phone just to get to know each other, and now we're on the bus bawling because we have to leave each other. It was a complete turnaround. Every single one of them bought into what this program's about and got us to our 7th national championship.
Congrats, ladies. We'll be right back.
Partly cloudy skies continue for us this evening.
Thanks, Candice. Stay safe.